Hello, everybody, and welcome to my Ascension Messages. My name is Bobbie Richardson, and I will be your guide for today. Today, I'm going to discuss something a little bit more personal because I want to help you guys and teach you guys how I actually got out of this loop that was within me. It was very stuck and it was very deep, and I didn't understand how I could actually shift this one. So it's one of those ones that are held in a lot of feminine or female DNAs. We've been programmed to look outside of ourselves for support so that we feel safe in this physical world, because this physical world is run more on the masculine logical side, and we never really completely feel safe. So we are constantly in need of finances and stuff like that, especially if you're extremely creative. So I was trying to clear a lot of that, and I ended up going back to when I was a child and recognizing that, I was born in the 60s. So, and in the 60s in New Zealand would be like 1940, 50s in America, because we were really behind in that respect. My father was Scottish English. My mum was French English and Welsh and that, and they had this whole, European side to them that was like indoctrinated into them, where the girls don't have to be worried about, because they will marry a man and the man will look after them. And as we know, everything changed. So, that wasn't the way life was, but that's how we were brought up to be. So they never worried about our schoolwork, but they did worry about, or were concerned about my little brother. Anyways, that aside, and constantly being told, don't worry. And I was extremely emotional when I was young, because I felt everyone and everything, and I had to have some way of purging all of those feelings that I was tapping into. And so I cried quite a bit because I could feel everyone's feelings. So I not only had to deal with what they were speaking, I also had to deal with what I was feeling off them as well, because they couldn't hide it from me. So there was a lot of me, falling into victim. I didn't know how to pull myself out. My father would constantly say, don't worry about it. You'll marry off. You'll find a man. So I've had this kind of thing in my psyche of that, and that has stumped my career when it come to, and I know that every female in my father's lineage was either an actress or creative, and the males were all in the parliament or soldiers. So I was even married to a soldier, and that's the girl's dad. And I ended up having this whole persona that was me as a creative person. It would always be a hobby. They were actresses, but it was always a hobby. It was never something that could sustain them, because the masculine, the male, was sustaining them in this physical world. So anyway, I was going into all of that, trying to find this little that was stopping me every time I come to a certain point. And I was very good at what I did. I'm an extremely good artist when it comes to fine drawing. I'm very good at Photoshop and stuff like that. I create videos. I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm a poet. I can come up with lyrics like this. You just give me something and I will just come up with the lyrics very easily. I literally let myself go and channel things through. Anyway, all of that, then I've become very proficient at channeling. So here I am with this new school, AMAKEL, trying to burst through so that I can support myself. I'm leaving this place. I have to do this on my own. It's literally pushing me to do this on my own, right? Now, so it's big steps, but what I ended up doing is I ended up holding a visualization because I've tried clearing. I've tried doing everything that my team has told me to do, go back to when I was small, find out where it's come from, clear it. And it just wasn't working. There was something missing. I would have days of clearance where my mind was totally clear and everything just came in and boom, 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 boom. Everything was working for me. And then I would have this dooming kind of feel pulling me under, as if, no, you're not going to make it. Don't even think of it like that. It's never going to happen. You're never going to be able to support yourself. And I couldn't get rid of these thoughts. And then I would shift them by just really coming back to central space and ignoring them. And the problem with ignoring is, yes, you can shift it for a while, but it would always keep returning back. So I couldn't shift it enough to get rid of it entirely. So anyway, recently, and recent events has pushed me so that I have to be doing this on my own. And I'm now stepping into a house sit, and I'll be there for 2 months, and I won't need to, because it's a house sit, you don't have to worry about the rent and stuff, but I'm not relying on anybody else. I can put a lot more energy into my work. But, I want to get rid of this nagging thought in me that is, I can feel it. It's preventing me from excelling. My team was saying, keep foreseeing yourself as the potential that you want to be. Imagine yourself that, feel into it. And then do your actions and what you say from that feeling, so that you are stepping into your empowerment anyways. So I started to do that, and it was showing up, but I still kept coming back to, there was like a cap on my success. It just wouldn't leave. And I really feel like me shifting this for a lot of females. There was this big aha moment that happened to me a few days ago. I ended up getting this message. I was actually listening to somebody else's podcast, and it was talking about a wolf inside of us. Now, she was talking about something else with that wolf, but for some reason, me visualizing a wolf within me clicked. There was something that clicked. And I think that I could come to this realization because I was ready to face the issue. So you can ask all you like to as a question of yourself to clear something, but unless you're ready to actually face the issue. And because I was empowering myself, it was getting me to a stage where I felt strong enough to be able to face this issue. So I ended up, for myself, seeing this wolf and as a masculine side of myself, the logical brain, right? And then something she said about it being wounded. And, we always see the masculine outside of us. They've been in charge for ages. We don't see them as wounded. We see them as in control, controlling, putting us down, making us feel like we have to do what they say because they hold all the reins of the money and the wealth and stuff like that. So I saw this wolf, kind of proud and taking over my intuitive thinking. And then I looked at it again and I saw it wounded. I saw it really wounded and really sad. And I'm like, oh my God, it was actually I saw my feminine side that was struggling so much to be heard, and it had been wounded itself, that it was attacking the masculine side. And I suddenly realized my nurturing feminine side had been putting down my logical side. So the logical side is everything to do with this physical world, everything grounded, so manifesting money, home, all of the assets and everything. That could not be done. It could not be done because every time I got to a certain point, my feminine side got scared that my masculine side would take over, and my feminine side was extremely powerful because I was really connected to that side of myself. It's the one that was telling me off. It was the one that was capping me. I always thought it was the other way around. I always thought it was the masculine, but it was actually my feminine side wounding my masculine to the point where I never really stabilized in this world with the assets that I needed to be able to support myself. It was also they brought me to for myself because they showed me that I had a very powerful feminine side. Where I come from, my soul is I was extremely powerful. I was all wise, all knowing. There was something very, very powerful about that feminine side. And then I saw my masculine side when I was born. It had nothing. It was at zero because I hadn't been here before. So because I hadn't been here before in this logical way of being able to work with all of that system and programs put in place, I just come straight from that higher aspect of myself, from another planet, from another program that was there. They were totally different on that planet. I didn't understand. I was extremely naive growing up. I really didn't know how all this worked in a physical sense. And it took me a long time to really come into maturity of that. And I looked at this myself in two sides. So that feminine goddess that I had, and then this masculine zero, nothing that had to build itself up. And how could it build itself up when my feminine side was feeling disengaged or disempowered? It was looking for a masculine return and it had nothing. So I was constantly putting my masculine side down. Oh, you're not worthy enough. You'll never get anywhere. So here's this amazing, I just suddenly saw the power of this amazing logical side that had to struggle not only through my feminine power, putting it down, but also learning how to be able to handle this kind of reality. So that's how strong that side of me was. I looked at it. Yes, it was wounded. Yes, it kept coming back. Yes, that's the reason why I overwork myself. I do a lot of videos. I create a lot of, if you see my AMAKEL school already, it's only been up for a few weeks and it's got all of these videos of games and stuff that I just keep creating and creating. So it's constantly at work, trying to prove itself to my goddess feminine self. And my goddess feminine self hasn't been nurturing it at all. It's been putting it down. So I'm like, whoa, hang on a sec. So this is completely flipped it to what I thought it was. I thought it was my masculine taking over my feminine, constantly badgering my feminine. It wasn't. It was my feminine trying to cap my masculine so it still felt like it was godlike, like it was important, like it was in those other worlds. And it was like, don't get above me because I'm feeling vulnerable here. I'm feeling so vulnerable that you have to match my vulnerability. And so it kept putting it was completely opposite. It was like this aha moment that I had in myself of now seeing this poor wolf within me, this poor masculine energy within me, wounded and still going and still creating physical, tangible schools and videos and artwork and putting out music. I've got like 600 videos on my YouTube, and I'm like, why is nothing ever coming of it? It's because my feminine side was constantly putting me down. Now I'm putting that out to the universe. I'm going, yes, I am amazing, but only to a certain point because I can't succeed in this physical world when my feminine side isn't seeing the beautiful masculine as its equal energy. I wasn't seeing that logical side as an equal energy. And it is because it's incredible how much it's created. So now I look at it. Now I'm starting to change. I started to change it. And I went up to that wolf in an imaginary world, went up to the wolf and I started to hug it and thank my logical mind for being so productive, even though it was being put down, for all the tenacity and the endurance that it had to keep going, even though it was wounded constantly. I literally can feel that within me. I'm fighting back a tear here. So because I'm still getting used to it. It's only a few days ago that I realized this. So I started to nurture that masculine side. I started to realize my feminine side is a nurturer. That feminine side of me, the aspect of connection to source energy, to the soul, to love itself, to my imagination, to my intuition. It is a nurturer. That is its aspect. It hasn't been. It has been vulnerable and attacking and creating a world in my world where it has to keep on attacking the masculine, not to be at equal terms. Okay, I'm just going to persevere through this because obviously I'm still clearing some stuff and that's why I'm crying. So I'm just going to persevere through it because I really want to get this message out. I think it's more important than how I look and all that sort of stuff. So I started to realize that the way that I was working in my head and how I was attacking my masculine side because I was getting scared that it was controlling my feminine side, instead of being the nurturer of the masculine, empowering it up to the level of my conscious feminine side. Now I'm starting to realize the reason why I haven't grounded anything in this world is because I haven't been supporting myself from my feminine side to my masculine side. I haven't been saying, well done, good on you. I have never celebrated my achievements. I've even won, B105, a singing song competition, and sung in front of 20,000 people at Broncos and center stage, and I've been limoed around and everything, but I never really sat down and celebrated that. I was always looking for the next thing, you have to keep on working, you have to keep on trying, you have to keep that sort of thing. My masculine is exhausted, and this is why at this point we're starting to feel this exhaustion, trying to fit into this world. Our masculine hasn't been nurtured. So I suppose you can see that in relationships where maybe the masculine hasn't been nurtured, and so the masculine is constantly trying to grasp everything outside of itself to make it feel safe because it knows this world in that respect. Especially if you have been here before, life after life, you would know how to handle this world, and so you would get what you need to get to support yourself, but you've never really felt nurtured at all because the feminine side hasn't been nurturing the masculine side, and the masculine side hasn't been supporting the feminine side. So we have to see that within our basic makeup of how we've been progressing. And I think that's why when I did the vision quest, I went into my own psyche, my psychic self, my psyche of who I was. And I saw that there was it was a war coming, like from both sides of me. My masculine and my feminine were warring because one was not nurturing the other out of feeling vulnerable and disempowered, and the other was not supporting the other because it felt like it hadn't been nurtured, or it didn't feel like that it was going to get anything from either side. Was not going to get anything from either side. There was a war going on of resistance. So, I wasn't allowed to go into those other higher frequencies until I had found harmony within myself. So this time at the moment for everybody is to do with finding that harmony within yourself. Now, it might be a different thing that you're dealing with than what I was. But if you're still finding fighting going on outside of you, then there's something within you that hasn't found peace within itself. So I would look within myself, but if you can't find it, just keep on stepping up and empowering yourself, seeing yourself as the empowered person that you really want to be, that you really are moving towards, and allow it to unfold in front of you, because when you start to feel more empowered, then you are ready to face the issues, and the issues will start to show up in a way that you can handle them. It might be a totally different way than what is shown to me. This is how my mind and my concept of reality works. So I've been born in this world, a very feeling based, a very feminine based, a very creative based person, but very naive within the masculine structure of the physical world and how to handle this physical world. It's very overwhelming, and it creates anxiousness within me. But now I see the tenacity. And can you imagine now I'm starting, when I actually accomplish something, I'm starting to say to myself, well done, that's so good, because I'm talking to my masculine side. I'm actually celebrating its achievements. And I've never, ever done that to myself. I've never changed that around and celebrated my achievements of what I've done. I've just jumped from one thing to another, to another, to another, trying to prove myself as worthy opponent of my feminine side. So yeah, I really wanted to share this with you guys so that maybe it could help. And yeah, I think it's worth sharing. Just to let you know, I do go live on Tuesdays and Thursdays if you want to join in on that. And I have started a school called AMAKEL School. I'll put all the links down below. You can also book me one-on-one as a counselor as well if you want to. Until next time, bye.